Hey guys, welcome back to a new Battlefield 6 video, and today I can finally share some more details about the new version of Portal with you. From creating experiences to the tools you can use to how experiences can be found, we got a lot of information that I want to dive into. But first of all, as usual, thanks to EA for inviting me to a preview of Portal so we can all get a first impression. Unfortunately, the gameplay you can see in the video is not my own, because we only got B-roll footage to share with you and couldn't play it ourselves. So we got details in B-roll, and that's what we're gonna have a look at now. And we get right in with the so-called Portal Builder. This should be well known to everyone who used it in 2042's version of Portal, and in Battlefield 6 it will work pretty much in the same way and will also look pretty similar. So you start with the basic settings for your mode, in this example free for all, then select the maps and their rotation, and you can select the teams and the settings for them. And here's already the first new feature compared to the former Portal version, because you can now set separate modifiers for each team, and you can do this throughout the whole process. Then you have your usual modifiers for gameplay, soldiers, vehicles, UI and AI. For example, if you want to allow aim assist on your server, if you want to have weapons locked to classes or not, you can select different health or damage values for each team, or whether you want to enable spotting or not. You can also select AI again for your experiences to simply fill up empty slots or have it in your mode permanently. And here you will also have more modifiers than before. So basically all the modifiers you have for the soldiers are also available for AI now, and it can also be split between the teams. Then under restrictions, you can enable or disable different classes, weapons, vehicles, gadgets or attachments. So you could, for example, create a mode with 4 teams and each team can only use one class. So you can let the different classes fight against each other. Or you only enable a certain weapon or weapon category for each team, or you give one team tanks and the other team EOD bots, and so on. So you can already get quite creative with these selectable tools right here. But of course, what you can use as well is the rules editor, which allows you to write your own code, just like it was in Battlefield 2042. And here you can either use blocks again, or you write a script yourself. But here again, you have so many more options than before. For example, you can also customize the HUD elements with your own buttons, texts and containers. You can replace the original scoreboard with a fully customizable one that you can modify as you wish. And you can also write scripts for AI again and define their behavior, position on the map or movement. And at the end, you can select a name and description, and now also a custom thumbnail for your experience. So in sum, the Portal Builder gives you over 100 options to create and modify your experiences, and so far it's pretty similar to what we had before, only with a few more options. But what makes this new version of Portal really different from the former one is the Spatial Editor. Because with the Spatial Editor, the devs give us the option to really be creative. It uses the Godot open source engine, and here you can modify the existing Battlefield 6 maps by removing things you don't like, by adding new assets you would like to see, or by transforming, rotating and scaling existing objects on the map. You can also change the boundaries of combat areas in all available modes, or move and scale objective areas and the team's HQs. So if you have an idea for a completely new game mode, or you're not happy with how a mode is on a certain map and you would like to change a thing or two or the whole thing, you can do this now. Or you build completely crazy experiences like the one that is shown right here, which is called Top of the World and will also be available at launch for everyone to play. It's basically another version of Climb to the Top of the Map games, but in Battlefield style, of course. So you have weapons, kills and destruction and other teams fighting against you. Or this parkour extraction mode here, where you move across the rooftops of Cairo and try to beat other teams in gathering supplies and successfully extracting with them. Another example we got is this air race, where you have to be faster than your opponents while flying through all the available gates on the course. Or a classic defuse the bomb mode, or a horde mode where you have to fight back waves of bots as long as you can. And according to the devs, these tools also enable you to create completely different experiences, like a top-down shooter, for example, or a puzzle game, all in Battlefield style. And the devs are also aware that this is a lot of tools and options, and that this might be a lot to take in for everyone who never played around with stuff like this. So what we can expect as well this time around are tutorials directly from the developers on how to use Portal and its tools, and how to make the most of it. But I guess one topic that is also interesting is the server browser and how it works. So similar to Battlefield 2042, this new version of Portal will also feature a server browser again, and it seems to pretty much look and work in the same way it did before. You can find experiences either by keywords and tags or by setting pre-made filters, and then you can scroll through them, and when clicking on an experience you get more detailed information. For example, what kind of XP it has, but more about that in a second. And there will also be featured community experiences again, where modes that are popular within the community will be shown on the front page of the game. So probably similar to the modes we've seen as community highlights in 2042, like Squid's Chaos, for example. Only that this time it will be right in the main menu and not hidden within Portal. At least that's what it sounds like. And all Portal experiences can be made persistent again without additional cost. Because with your purchase of Battlefield 6, no matter which version you buy, you will have the option to host one persistent server at a time for free. So you don't need to purchase a premium battle pass in addition to the game like it was in 2042. This time it is all covered with your purchase of the game. If there will be an option though to buy an upgrade to host more than one persistent server at a time is not known yet, so we will have to wait and see if this is something that will be possible. Moving on, we have probably the most important topic for everyone who loves to use Portal as a player, and that's progression and XP. So for Portal 2.0, there will be a tag called Verified Experience, and this means that this creation is based on official Battlefield 6 templates, such as Conquest or Rush, and was only modified to a certain extent. For example, a Hardcore Conquest mode or a Rush XL mode. And when playing these verified experiences, you will receive the same amount of XP and progression that you gain from the official experiences as well. But you can also gain full XP from more creative modes, like the Top of the World one we've seen before. Unfortunately, there were no details on which modifiers can be used to still get full XP and which modifiers could not be used. And there was also no word about what happens when you enable AI on your experience and how this will affect progression. Because the biggest problem in 2042 was that the first thing players created in Portal was not some kind of crazy creative mode, but instead there were hundreds of XP and kill farms to easily level up your soldiers and weapons. And after only a few days, the devs disabled the XP in Portal entirely and only slowly brought it back, and ended up with a system that is hard to understand and sometimes doesn't even make any sense. So I'm hoping that this problem was solved as well and that they have a clear path for this. But like I said, unfortunately, we didn't get any info about this yet. We also didn't hear anything about special maps for Portal like we had when 2042 launched. So what I'm guessing is that Portal will only be a tool set to create experiences this time, and the maps will be independent from it. We know we get a remake of Operation Firestorm at release, which is part of the normal map pool for the main game, so it seems like it's not exclusively for Portal anymore. Nonetheless, Portal in Battlefield 6 sounds pretty good, and I'm especially excited about the Spatial Editor and what we're able to do with it. Who knows, maybe the community comes up with some amazing modes or even some new map versions that we haven't thought of before. I really think that this will give the creative heads in the community all the tools they need to create something really cool. I just hope that this time around it will also be seen and not buried under a flood of XP farms. Going forward from launch, the devs also want to expand Portal based on community feedback with more modifiers and features for both the Portal Builder and the Spatial Editor, and of course all maps, modes, weapons and so on that are added to the game throughout its life cycle will also find their way to Portal, so you can use them for your creations. And that was it for today. Everything we know about the new version of Portal so far. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. I'm the Catwoman and you are awesome.